So I just got this package in from my good friend Avery up at Custom 3D Nerf. That's the eBay shop that makes the 3D printed parts that I've used before, but you will notice that it is flat. And that's because I've gone to the liberty of installing everything already. So let's take a look at part of that install. So in the process of installing these pieces, you can see that the original piece just doesn't come out nearly as far. So hopefully this does exactly what it's supposed to, which is make this better to use. And here we are completed. So you can see that the Zeus here is my modified full auto Zeus, and it currently has this nubbin installed. It's just a much better system. It allows for very quick popping out and reloading of the magazine, but what you'll notice there is that these stops on the other side are just very intuitive. I went ahead and locked them in with a 2-part epoxy with a little bit of a lip so that they get plenty of extra coverage. So I want to show you kind of how this makes things easier, and hopefully I can get into the camera. So when firing here, you can see that it's much more intuitive now. I kind of do that, drop, this comes out completely by pushing through, and then reloading is much easier now since you don't have to worry about shoving through. Now, you give up the ambidextrous reloading ability, but I think that that's totally worth it for a much more ergonomic, much easier to change and reload system. Now, he also sent one other part, but I'm gonna have to hop in front of the camera to show you that because I'm currently wearing it. So as you can see, Avery also sent these. These are his 3D printed holders for Nerf rival magazines, and I think that they're really cool. They're kind of on par with narrow base magazine holders, and they are designed exclusively to hold the magazines in a position. They're not necessarily friction fit. You can see that there is a little bit of rattle, and they move a little bit when you run, but as long as you're not jumping up and down, it's not the end of the world. Now they hold these for the Apollo, which is what I think is really interesting, but they will just as easily allow you to pull out and reload with anything. So they hold both. They hang a little bit low, but you could just as easily mount them to a Molle vest as you could on your belt. I really like running belt rigs, so this is kind of how I use them, but I thought that it was a really sweet part and definitely wanted to get it on the video. It'll probably become a part of my rival battle belt when I eventually get around to building a rival battle belt. But that's the rival magazine holder, and I think that it's a sweet complement to the already very cool Zeus upgrades. Now, less important than the stop, I think, is this replacement part. I wish that Hasbro had given us more lip like this and then a smoother ramp to feed into on the Zeus, but it's a quick solution. It's a very inexpensive part, and all of these things are available on Avery's eBay store. I'll put a link to that in the description box below, but some really cool stuff coming out of his shop, and something particularly interesting for the Apollo, which I look forward to reviewing for you in the future. As always, guys, thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed this one.